Hello everybody, welcome back to the Rootrees are dead, and we are entering Roottreemania time. Everybody is claiming to be a Roottree. We have got a story so far reminder, so let's look at that. What date is it as well actually? It is, where's my computer? The 3rd of, oh, it's been like, it was December, wasn't it? So it's been 8 months since last. The kid's going to be born. This is a new investigation with a new focus after many months of newfound interest in the Roottree. It is recommended you try to catch up with some of what happened since last time. Some web searches may yield new or different results, and some books and magazines from the previous investigation may be relevant to a new one. It is also a much more widespread search. The list of first and last names you can choose from will contain red herrings. Oh yeah, there weren't actually any red herrings last time, were there? Like, not on the list of names. Seeing as we were taught about red herrings in the tutorial. Surprising. Not all of them will be used. Below is a reminder of some of the most notable beats. This is really useful because I've forgotten everything. All evidence from before is still available, and for your convenience, any searches that do not lead to new information still function as they did during your first investigation. Okay. I wish I just didn't do anything, because then it would be clearer. The Roottree Candy Company was founded by Elias and Gwyneth many years ago. The entire family has a financial reliance on the health of that company. Most of the action took place in or around Butler County, Pennsylvania, where the company was initially located. Elias, Carl, and Rihanna were the cover of magazines. Why is that, like, integral information? Other notable Rootrees, such as Lauren, Miracle, and Jim, had physical media such as record, albums, books, and movies associated with them. Lauren's 2 diaries were probably the most useful resource. Overall, they definitely were. The 5 pieces could be identified based on the initials of original flavour candies. Yes, which we didn't notice. That was a huge clue. There were 5 presidents. There are now 6. We're on the 6th. Stephanie Jones and Brian Jones were featured in campaign posters and led to Caroline Morden's art book. She has a kid now. Doesn't she? Many of the younger Rootrees were found by following a complex rabbit hole through a conspiracy site that led to... That was odd, wasn't it? I completely forgot about that. November Roottree was really difficult to place. Her occupation could only be found via Brian Jones's company. But is that really the only place? That's the only place that I could have found that. Wow. Ronald and his brother Robert go by Ron and Robbie, both worked on a TV show called Brother Trouble, until Robbie embezzled money and fled to Paris. Ron tried to have Robbie removed from the clan's trust. Sam and her father were critically mentioned in a book about historical lessons. Yes, right. If you've watched the rest of the series, you know what's going on. Probably more than I do. There was Aloysius Herring Roottree. Maybe he's coming back. Who claimed to be Roottree, but was not. Family Man, a book about Elias Roottree, turned out to be propaganda and not useful. Did I read that? Lauren's other books, historical romance novels, were not very useful on their own. They could lead to... yeah. And Caroline Morden's sculptures were not useful. Wow. Wow. Shall I search for Aloysius then? Oh, you can't search from here. Am I online? Okay, there we go. I've been offline for 8 months. That's yeah, right, we're in. We've got everything still. Nice. Pix Pop is still there. Periodicals, Welcome TXT. Is there anything different in Welcome TXT? We're now ready for Y2K! Wait, we got an update. The extension should be more stable and smooth to operate. Here are some highlights. We're ready for Y2K. We're going to shut it down on New Year's Eve just in case. File name's going to go up to 20 characters long. Interesting. Putting a CD in the drive upside down will no longer heat the plastic to dangerous temperatures. We no longer prompt you to replace the print ink when it's still 50% full. As always, remember, cashew peaches are delicious. Disclaimer. Oh wait, this is longer. I'm not safe. Any computer parts eaten or done at your own violation, and you assume the risk. The Cashew PC Corporation cannot be held liable. Somebody has eaten a Cashew PC in between last time and this time, and they had to extend the disclaimer. That's so funny. What was I about to search for? I was going to search for Aloysius, just because maybe it's been mentioned for a reason. This page hasn't been updated. Oh, that is amazing. Okay, that is great. I'm glad that. Okay, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted out of this. A very clear indicator. Right, this is what happened at the end of last episode. There was a knock at the door. Clark, not Carl, the current president, explained that most people have come out of the woodwork. He's trying to work with Sam, blah, 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 blah. He handed you a letter that said the following: the company I hired to help with clients and trust is busy pouring through everyone's history. I don't think I need to read this. I think I do need to read this. I don't think this was said in the information, was it? To both of you, the company I hired to help with the Clanstead Trust is busy pouring through the entire family's history, as well as people that may have been in contact with. That said, the family is not particularly happy with this, and are doing their best to slow things down. Many of them are actively avoiding our interviews. Every time there's a high-profile public case, it causes headaches. So please, I don't mind if you do your research, but I ask you to stop going to the press. Instead, we have a highly trained team of lawyers to back you up. We're ready and willing to verify anyone and everyone you believe could be realistically part of a relationship that led to the birth of a new Roottrie. Just tell us who to investigate by filing in the new reports of the tree. Okay, that's what I'm doing. And we'll take the time to handle verifying that the timeline checks out. But keep in mind why we're here. If someone didn't have a child or has already been disqualified by our lawyers, like in the case of the girl who had the negative DNA test, there won't be a place for them on the tree. We're not just looking for affairs or infidelities, we're also looking for the ones that led to potential new Roottrees. Right, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So there might be affairs, but maybe not all of them had kids. Some spots in the new section will be marked with a tree icon. Those areas are reserved for members of the original family tree you filled in 8 months ago. Just like last time, and be sure to use birth names for everyone you add. Married names or nicknames won't be enough. To start sorting out infidelities, I recommend you turn your eyes to the men in positions of power. I'd love to say that's only because it would have been a lot harder for women to hide nice pregnancy and birth without family noticing, but I can't. It's because the men are sleazebags. I'll be blunt. I'm no stranger to infidelity. Who wrote this? Oh, who wrote this? Clark. Oh yeah. Okay. We know what Clark was up to. I wish I could claim I was a perfect husband, but you've seen the family tree, so why pretend? Some of us learned how to wield our family name and fortune to our benefit. Consequences be damned. I can't change the past or unhurt those who I betrayed. Instead, all I can do is be honest with myself and to you. I refuse to make any more mistakes and do my best to sort out the very messes we've left behind. So please, fill in the tree, and together we can figure out how to begin to make amends. Good luck, and thank you both. This is going to get this tree over the generations. I'm going to have to change the Clanstead Trust. It worked at the beginning. There's going to be 50 million people on this tree, and they're going to have to start cutting people out. I know they literally said they can't do that. 6 pieces? Bah! Oh, I guess that would be the thing. The extra child, Sam. Sam's... No, wait. That wasn't a 5-piece. Today is August 3rd, 1999. It has been 8 months since you helped Sam Medicine with the research necessary for her book. Sam was true to her word and paid you an incredible large sum of money. She never mentioned you by name, however, so you've managed to keep a low profile. The Rootrees, on the other hand, have not. Below is a summary of notable events since the book's release, though you can refresh your memory too. Okay, amazing. 6 pieces. Sam Madsen's book about Elias Roottrie was released in February. It was bestseller for a few months at the time. Carl had not yet been replaced. 6 pieces. That's what the book's called. 6 pieces. Unwrapping America's Sweetest Family by... There's an older version. I can go time travel archive. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, so I could have searched for this in the past. But I didn't. And perhaps assisted by the still relatively recent plane crash, shot to the top of the charts. Reviews were mixed, and its time on the bestseller list was limited to only 2 months. Most reviewers agreed that the core of the book about Samantha's fathers and the struggles they faced was compelling, and the takedown of the hypocrisy of Elias Roottree was deserved. However, many took umbrage with the timing of the release and the tone of the book, which seemed vindicative. Yeah. The fallout from the book led to the Roottree company scrambling to release a statement, and due to a conflict of leadership, famously released multiple conflicting official statements over 3 days. Oh no, because no one was in charge. They all... This confusing move was referenced in popular culture due to a late night sketch about indecisionitis, and more traditional analysts have called it the Roottree Rift. A few months later, due to Roottreemania, the book re-entered the charts and sold even better than the first time. Good for Sam. Well done, Sam. So let's look up this in the public library. Maybe there's a copy. Sam Madsden. I got one thing wrong. What did I get wrong? Sam Madsen. Madsen, not Madsden. You think I would get there by now? Right. It was released earlier this year in details truth. Yep. We know all this. We helped write it. Sam had some sections on other family secrets and rumours. Much of it didn't matter to the primary purpose of the book, and some of it is new to you and may be important to your new search. These sections have been added to your notes. Cool, and there is an older version. It's yet to be released. Don't know why I keep getting fooled by that. Great. So that was the book. It's been released. We know everything about that. We are already, I can feel this is going better than last time. Because the start of the last time was pretty damn bad. The Roottree Rift. So this is when everyone released multiple statements. Yes, clear like a leadership. Let's read about that. The 3 press releases from the Roottree company after the release of 6 pieces were referred to as the Roottrees Rift due to the clear conflicts between them. The first was fairly standard. It stated there was no president of the Roottree company, but that the entire family was made aware of the release of the book, and that they would be meeting as soon as possible. Only then could they verify the legitimacy of the claims it raised and decide next steps. The second release was emailed to business newspapers 3 hours later, business newspapers, we know that one, and announced that after a vote, Ron Roottree would be taking over temporarily as an interim president. It also went on to state that Ron was aware of the book, had verified the claims within, and would look into compensating Mrs. Madston and her family immediately. It also stated the company lawyers would be taking immediate steps with the family to revisit the Clans Trust terms to make sure nothing like this could happen again. It was quickly clear to business reporters and analysts that the time between the 2 press releases would not have been logistically sufficient to gather a majority of the family, even using conference calls. This was reported on many news channels, and a third, much shorter press release came the next day. It claimed that a draft of the announcement was made prematurely, and that Clark Rafferty LaRue and Ron Roottree would be taking over as the company's first joint presidents. Interesting. It also stated that any compensation plan would be based on a stringent verification process. I am the stringent. I'm stringent. No. Is there anything we want to look into here? We probably want to look. It was released in business newspapers. I want to look into a business newspaper. What do I have to search though? Press release, but maybe I'd have to search Ron Roottree into the Business Watch, see if there's a thing. I didn't get a printout. Business Watch ran an article about 2 months after the Roottree Rift about what really happened with Roottree. The article mentions that nobody from Roottree that they reached out to was willing to go on the record. Instead, the timeline of events has been constructed from public record, accidental leaks, and a source on the inside. The only parts that are new to you are also the most vague parts, that one's supposedly confirmed by the anonymous source. The timeline says that the family actually held a preliminary vote after coverage drew dry, but before the release of the 6 pieces. Before the release of the book, and decided they wanted. It's confusing that it's called 6 Pieces. And decided they wanted Ron Roottree to take over because of experience running RR Productions, because he's well known and more respected. That makes sense. He ran a company. Not many of the other ones have ran a company, so. But also, didn't he embezzle money? But Ron seemed way too eager and personally motivated. They were worried he would gut the Clans Trust to remove Robbie Roottree. Oh no, Robbie. Yes, okay. So yes, that makes sense. The family were seriously unwilling to do anything that could risk their wealth. They stalled, and Ron became frustrated with the delay. When 6 Pieces came out, he saw his chance to force action while the family was in the limelight and released the press release himself in an attempt to get the ball rolling faster. This caused chaos within the family. They tried to save face by allowing Ron to take over as co-president with Clark, but according to Business Watch sources, Ron was impossible to deal with. He seemed like he was unwilling to protect the Clans Trust, and they eventually let him go. After that, the role passed solely to Clark, who nobody was excited about. But seemed like the safest choice. That's a shame, isn't it? Poor Clark. There's an older version. This is new. Okay. Is this new? Have I never searched for... There's an older version. Did I read this one? Yeah. Yes, I did. Okay. So this is a new Clans Trust page. Clark Rafferty LaRue, as well as Ruby Spat. I don't know Ruby Spat, do I? She's not of the family. Unless she's... No, she's not. Okay. New person mentioned, and a company, Ruby Legal Enterprises, were featured in Business Watch after the company took over as the keepers of the Clans Trust. There's an article about the process that interviews both Clark and Ruby. It seems that Ruby actually approached the Roottree sometimes in late March after the Roottrees Rift, but well before Roottreemania. Roottreemania is such a good name. An accomplished but relatively low-profile lawyer, she offers to work for very little money, so long as she can be public face to build her reputation. Good for her. The family quickly jumped at the chance, as many family members often attempt to spend as little as possible to keep their shares of the Clans Trust as high as possible. After looking over the Clans Trust more carefully than anyone had in years, Ruby came to the conclusion that Clancy Edwards Rootree's implementation was not legally sound, and there would be constant legal challenges without some modifications. The family decided to put her in charge of the trust, both legally and as public face, to prevent further issues. There are a mix between a law firm and a PR firm. Her first move, as sort of a trial run before she was hired permanently, was to help them draft a public statement accepting Sam to the family and declaring they would begin to address the... Okay, so this is the third statement. Ruby Legal is now in charge of many financial aspects of the company, including verifying any claims to the trust and organize. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. So let's give a little search for Ruby Spratt. Will there be anything about her? Yes, quite a lot. Ruby's threat, like a legal company, is relatively elusive, not exclusive. The most complete source of information you can find from before her time with the Roottrees from the website for a magazine owned by a major airline. Is this a periodical? She was the subject of one article from a recurring series about modern-day success stories. Ruby grew up in foster care, but excelled at school and earned a scholarship to study at Mid-Eastern University. There she graduated at the top of her legal class and was quickly hired as a lawyer for a prominent firm. There's a lot of text at the start of this game, isn't there? There's so much law that I'm being dumped. Am I remembering any of it? Oh shit, am I remembering any of this? Let's write down Ruby. I've got my notebook. Let's write down Ruby lawyer. Who's in charge now? Right, so oh god, I forgot how this game works. Ron Clark. To Clark. Yep. Ruby lawyer to help out with the trust. Client said short. That doesn't make none of these notes make any sense. I don't think I looked at my notes once, apart from a list of names. Actually, lists of names really help. There are a few high-profile corporate involved cases she was part of. One was a legal consultant for a class action lawsuit against a manufacturer of steering wheel covers. Another was to help a local gas station chain in our hometown of Portland, with the rollout of a promotion that allowed gas station customers the ability to bet on the price of gas. Wow, that seems interesting. The blurb ends by calling her new firm a double threat. Her company services are a cross between a traditional lawyer and a PR manager. Okay, anything there? No. Can I look for Ruby Legal Enterprises as well? Yes, this is a different page. The company is headed by Luby Pratt? No. You can't find much about the company from before this year, though. All of the articles tell the same tale. After the fiasco of 6 Spaces, they did something. They hired outside counsel. They got rid of their internal law group because they've... okay. The Ruby Legal Enterprise Group now seems to have ties to multiple aspects of the Roottrees company, including the Candy Company and Root. They recently in the news due to the high-profile lawsuit. Ooh. They raised against Sisley Sanchez. Let's look at Sisley Sanchez. As an author, best known for Portrait of a Changed Man, released in 1979. Her follow-up, Foreign Gospel, did not perform as well critically, but still sold quite respectably. She's written a few more books since then, including a biography of Van Gogh, but her first 2 are acclaimed to fame. What is this? According to the site about authors, Sisley is known for a non-fiction with a focus on exploring darkness in the human psyche. Recently, she appeared in a magazine called Pictity with an article about a book she had been commissioned to write for Guy Hudson. Guy Hudson, we know Guy Hudson. The magazine and we know Guy Hudson, but I don't know who Guy Hudson is. Guy Hudson, he is over here, right? This man, the 3rd president. Didn't he die? He was ill, right? Did he step down? He's not the one that died in a car crash, is he? Did he die in a car crash? Oh, beans. I wish they'd cause of death on this as well. So I can remember things. The magazine and Sisley herself were immediately issued a cease and desist due to the inclusion of pictures that she'd never had the rights to publish. Ooh. Okay. So that means it exists out there. Let's just check with Guy Hudson. Did he die? There's also new stuff about Guy. Oh my god. He did die. Right, let's read this again. This is crazy. How is there news about somebody that died like 10 years ago? Due to Roottreemania, he suddenly rose to prominence again after 5Ps appeared on the cover of a magazine holding a photo of Guy and his mother. I need to read these notes. Maybe I should have read that before I went into here. For context, a few people that existed adjacent to the company in the 70s have come forward with stories about debauchery and swingers parties. Guy to throw large holiday parties whenever he had an excuse. Guy? I would never have imagined it. He looked so good. He died in a car crash and it wasn't his fault. The fact has led to some people to speculate that the night he died in a car crash, he was drunk or impaired in some way, but the Butler County Police has released multiple statements and ample evidence that proves decisively it was not foul play and that no party has taken place. Rootree's lawyers have quick to threaten litigation to anyone who tries to dispatch Guy. Oh, Guy. Right, I'm getting confused, so let's look at these notes and then we'll go back. We'll go back through because I'm getting like 5Ps and I don't know what that is. Clark was announced as the permanent successor to Carl Roottree and welcomed Sam Madison to the family officially. Good for you, Clark. The company hired an outside legal group to handle the changes to Client Trust. This includes any other new questions or lineage. Great. So Ruby is probably the lady that wrote that letter. After this announcement, there was a rash of different people claiming to be Roottrees, mostly dismissed as opportunists and scammers. The highest profile of these, by a wide margin, was a rapper named Felix Fellows, who changed his moniker to 5Ps as a publicity move at the same time. 5Ps is the only notable person on the updated tree, so we should head for them first. Roottreemania. Another high-profile misstep. Miracle Roottree publicly and vehemently denied that 5P was a Roottree. The Rootree's legal team then offered to do a DNA test to get 5P to drop his claim, and in a moment that caught what seemed like the entire world by storm, the test proved he was a Roottree. Suddenly the world was obsessed with the Rootrees. Anonymum and Jane Doe Roottree. In July, an anonymous woman who the press began to refer to as Anonymum appeared in interviews with her face and voice disguised. She claimed that an affair with a Roottree led to the birth of her daughter, aka Jane Doe Roottree. If true, this would make her daughter yet another secret Roottree, and therefore entitled to a share of the class of trust. Nobody knew at the time, but this would turn out to be the last chapter in the Roottreemania saga. I thought that was it. I was like, what a cliffhanger. As more and more of Anonymous' story came out, people began to notice how much of it echoed 5Ps in nearly every significant way. The course of public opinion began to turn, confirming there was suspicion. The DNA test, orchestrated by lawyers on both sides, proved that her daughter was not a Roottree. The final event caused public disappointment, smugness from doubters, and countless accusations of the entire ordeal being an elaborate hoax or attempt at fraud. Things got a bit ugly, and the fun of Roottreemania seemed to disappear overnight. Now, a month later, it seems like a distant memory. Really? That quickly? You think there would still be people coming out saying, yeah, well, my mum slept with Guy. You think they'd remember? I would. Look at him. I would remember that. Anyway. I think, so one of these is Guy. Oh my god, right. It goes deep, doesn't it? I wonder if Guy is this one. Oh shit, look at this. So possible 1921. So the first infidelity, I assume. Oh no, that would be one of the grandparents, not Elias. 1989, a large period, and 1998. So this is Guy, because Guy died. I don't know if you're aware of that, but he died in some time. Show the older page. When did he die? I don't know. Why doesn't it tell me about when he died? But anyway, he was around. He was president for 70s to 80s. You don't have any portraits available. Oh. Well, we know your Guy, and you were Presidente. Oh, what were you? The third president? Is that right? Second? Third? Yeah. Okay. We don't have a picture of him, but he's right there. So, oh my God, Guy Hudson. 5 affairs. This one had 2 children. Oh wait. Oh, so no, wait. Oh, we broke up a marriage as well. No, wait. We're not going to say we. We're not going to put Guy in as a we. This is... I've got to do the third... Oh. That wasn't English. I've got to do the first and the surname. What the hell is 5P's real name? I've forgotten already. 5P's. Felix Fellows. Let's look up. Oh my god. I've got to do both names. That was like what got me, not travel agent, I tried to type in rapper, musician. That's what got me half of the names in the first one, is that I just needed to know one of the names. But now I've got to type in both. That is ridiculous. Okay. Good. Who do we think is the most likely to have an affair in 1921? Maybe... No, it had to be a man. These are all man. I would say Elias. He already had an out of wedlock child. So... Not Papa. Surely not Papa. Maybe it could have been Elias. I'm trying to get... Founded in 1908, so he would have been 40? He could. Men can have children for a while, can't they? For a while. Right, let's go back into here. We want to... What did we look up last? We looked up 6Ps. We got a copy of the book, didn't we? I've forgotten this already. Yes, we got a copy of the book. Was there anything else we wanted to look at? Can we look at Ruby Spratt in the Business Watch? It's probably the same information, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, this is this is the same information. Yeah, this is the glance at the trust. Is there a way? No, it's not. This says Ruby Legal Enterprises. I wish it told me like what page I was actually on, because some of them go to the same place. Cool. We need to search for the Roottrees Rift. Let's have a look at that then. Why am I doing it this way? There's a search button right there. The 3 press releases. This is what we've already read. Clark, we know about. Well, let's search him again because there's going to be more news about him. He's a new president. This does not include Root, which appears to have its own. Oh, we should look at Root then. In early March 1999, about 5 months ago, it was announced that Clark and Ron would take over. Yep. About 2 weeks later, the company released a press statement that thanked Ron for his work, but announced that Clark was now permanent leader. Got it. Most of the information about Clark you already knew. Many descriptions of him tend to focus on his advertising career, and his mother was Lauren Roottrie. Few seem to touch on his complex and volatile marital history. Oh, Clark. Do you think maybe Clark had a secret child? I mean, Clark wasn't great, but I think he seems fairly loyal to his children at least, because like he had a child there and broke up, but I suppose he was married to all these women. Maybe there was an extramarital. 1998. Oh yeah, wait, I did see this, didn't I? 2 people on the tree got married. 2 people on the tree got married. That's illegal. Since taking over, Clark's tried to remain out of the spotlight, but did have one notable foray into the public eye. He gained a lot of support when his first move was a statement in favour of accepting Sam and her family into the trust. This also served as an announcement that the Clark's trust would no longer be handled by anyone in the family. Blah, blah, blah. Right, cool, that's that done. We are back looking at Cicely Sanchez. We want this magazine. Can we look for Picto Tea? It's a category of flower with an outline around the edge of its petals, is it? Picto Tea magazine. I'm surprised that worked. New periodical added. I can't say periodical, can I? It's a publication that, as far as you can tell, has no consistent theme. It tends to contain tabloid-esque articles that appeal to a wider variety of audiences and appear in many grocery stores in the checkout line. It doesn't typically feature celebrities on the cover. Instead, it tends to latch onto a create sensationalist headline by whatever subject appears to be popular at any time. In recent years, this has included Beanie Babies, Magic Eye. Oh, I love Magic Eye pictures. Give me a Magic Eye picture and I'll tell you what it is. That's how it works, isn't it? It often comes under fire for printing fiction along with facts. Picto Tea gets around this by stating in every issue that all articles are all the hearsay that's fit to print. At one point, Picto Tea ran an article about Cicely Sanchez, an author she claims to have written an unread book about Guy Hudson. Written an unread book? What is No one's read it. Even the author hasn't read it. Surely unpublished makes it. Anyway, the article was not even the main focus of the issue, yet the magazine was threatened legally by the Roottree company. The particular issue, the Big Sass Sea Bass issue, was pulled from shelves. It has now become a collector's item, especially among conspiracy theorists attempting to figure out what the Roottree company was hiding. Interesting. $1,000 and nobody bid. Right, let's look up Big Sass Sea Bass. Big Sass Sea Bass is a talking fish. What? You're talking about Betty Bass. When you press a button, you speak to it, and it makes your voice and insults you. Many people consider it a rip-off of a more popular alright, here we go. Yeah. But the packaging makes clear this one does not sing. Instead, when the advertisements say, set Big Sass Sea Bass apart from its competitors, a sardonic and sarcastic wit that will leave you reeling with laughter. It's oceans of fun for the whole family. You'll be hooked on this big sassy bass. They should have called it a sardonic sardine. It should have been a sardine. The words reeling, oceans, and hooked are conveniently bolded to ensure you recognise how clever the copywriters were. Oh, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. Recently, it appeared on the cover of Picto Tea magazine in the same issue that Roottrees-related article appeared. The issue was removed from stores. Okay, the issue has become a collector's item and ripe for conspiracy. Okay, can we search for Big Sea Bass in the new periodical Picto Tea? Not that. Do we need to... Wait, why are we doing this? Can't we search for... the actual man? Nothing relevant. Okay, who are we looking for? Guy Roottree instead. Let's look for Guy Roottree. Nothing relevant. This is the one I was looking at, right? Picto Tea. But is it not available? Oh god. Because it was pulled from shelves. Guy Hudson. Sorry, that's why. Not Roottree. Here we go. .txt. Yay. Issue that focused on the toy fish and the demonic messages it supposedly said as the batteries ran down. Oh my god, that is a conspiracy. Picto Tea had an article about a cancelled book by Cicely Sanchez. Yep, the book subject was him. Yep. Because of the pictures, issues with pilfer and store shelves. Okay. The version we have is incomplete. Let's look at that. There it is. Oh my god, that is a scary fish. Baselbub? That's good. That is good. Baselbub? No, that doesn't make sense. Could the popular gift be filling homes with synthetic messages? Exclusive. How do I scroll down? Sizey Sanchez reveals Roottrees secrets. Plus, the utensil that will help you lose £50. June, this is recent. The story concerned an unreleased book she written by Guy Hudson. I'm getting the same information but from 20 different sources. It seems that he used photos of a guy that Sizey did not own the rights to publish. Unfortunately, the magazine was issued a cease and desist. Yes. It was pulled from shelves. Yeah. We do not have any images apart from the bass. That is not part of the family. It says there's 8 things, so we want to... If it was moved from shelves, but they're... But they said there was a version of it. Can I not buy that? I've got £1,000, right? Maybe. Do I not have £1,000 running around? Running around. Why is my money running around? Let's look at this book that she wrote. Can I read this book that she wrote? Oh my god, it's so far back. Did it ever say the name? I know it wasn't published, but maybe there's a version or something. No. Can we look for Portrait of a Changed Man? Nothing. Damn it. Can we look at it in the library? I want to just get it out and have a quick read. It sounds quite good. Sizey Sanchez. I'm lost. What a name. Sizey Sanchez. Is that how I'm saying it? Sizey? That is how I'm saying it. Is that how it's said? What if everything you stand for, everything you know... I don't think this is relevant at all, is it? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Sizey Sanchez tells the powerful story about a man who woke up after being saved from drowning in his backyard pool and became an entirely different person, including interviews from those who knew him best before, as well as a one-on-one chat that paints an entirely different picture. What if that were me? What if I drowned in a pool? What about foreign gospel? How's that? Tells us a tale of a man from the Catholic Church who claims he was told by God that he should travel to Thailand and began to preach. Okay. To convert 10,000 people. Wow. How do you track that? How do you track it? I guess you just have a tally. Book says a version of the story, but the author sent it. Okay. Well, I don't know. Sizey is clearly useful, but there's no version of her book online, of the magazine online, and that's it. That's all we got really. Anything else on here that I can copy and go into? They finished. I want to see that at least. Maybe we could contact them. Can we look at online auction? No, that was probably asking too much, wasn't it? I'm lost in the source. Right, cool. It says start here. We're still starting here. Let's work through this. Did I even search for 5p's? Did I? Have I got this far yet? We've got a lot to do. 5p's, aka Felix Fellows. It's a rapper that was found some recent radio play out. Are we gonna get a song? Are we going to get a song from Felix Fellows? He was a long-lost Roottree. His alias 5 Pieces, a play on 5 pieces. Yeah, I got that. The article you find on a website known for its particularly harsh reviews of modern music give this most recent album, Root of All Evil, 1 star out of 7, for whatever reason, with a headline more poser than my action figure collection. Don't look behind me. Don't look at my action figure collection. The reviews mention his real name is David, and he used to go by Dirty Davy. Wait, what? Oh. So Felix Fellows isn't real. His real name's David. David Fellows, maybe? Maybe. And it also rues the fact that his rebranding was a blatant marketing stunt at the expense of his mother's tragic past. She overdosed when he was 16. Oh. Apparently only one of his songs on the album is new, and the others are simply rewritten to turn blatant references to sex, drugs and violence into clumsy euphemisms. His rise to prominence was kickstarted when he appeared a few months ago on the cover of News Time, holding a photo of his mother with Guy Hudson. At first the company denied it vehemently. Yep. Miracle even appeared in the same magazine. Yeah, we read about that. They backtracked it and welcomed it to the family. Okay, cool. Right, let's start at the top. Let's look for Dirty Davy. Let's see if there's any. It was his real name because his birth name was David Fellows. There we go. Look, the first thing I put onto here and it's wrong. David Fellows. There we go. Can I... Does it even like... it doesn't even block out names. So... Oh, God. Oh. That's harsh, isn't it? That sucks. So there could be like 3 Davids and I wouldn't know. Dirty David was 5-piece period. He used to sell records and perform live shows in Portland under that name. There are some people selling his old mixtapes on his site. One is apparently called Dirty Devil and another Dirt Poor. Okay, let's have a quick look through these. Quick, this is long. There's discrepancies and debates about what exactly year it's released based on some of the pop culture references, with the range thought to be somewhere between 1992 and 1994. One of the songs, Yes I Can Jump, seems to be the center of confusion. I just forget about like pre-internet world where you wouldn't even know what year something came out. Like now everything's just logged, isn't it? Logged down. Some fan sites claim that there are multiple versions of different track lists and some song lengths on them, though because there's very little evidence to mixtape online as it is, it's very hard to verify. Okay, can I get a copy of Yes I Can Jump? No. It's a song on the mixtape Dirty Devil. It seems to be the only song that didn't make it onto his studio album that people thought should have. In its references, he references a popular movie from 1992 called White Men Can't Jump. The reference has caused some confusion amongst the fan base because of it. It is agreed upon the mixtape that had come out in 1992 at the earliest, and others point out that Fellows references seeing the movie on his 17th birthday. This would be in 1994. Some take this to mean the album had to be released in 1994 at the earliest. Others claim that he was likely just trying to make himself sound older, since in response to some of the more questionable lyrics, he has stated multiple times that he was just a dumb kid when he was released. 17 is still a dumb kid in my opinion. Can we search White Men Can't Jump? I want to learn more about this 92 film. No. I can't learn anything extra about that. Okay, Dirty Devil. Everything on there. Back. Let's look at Dirt Poor. Dirt Poor. Mixtape by Dirty Devil. Yep. Okay. Online discourse from people who like to point out that in one of the songs, it includes someone that would be revealed to be his own distant cousin, Rihanna, and a list of attractive women. That's so funny. Oh no, the lyrics to one of his songs, Heat, mentions a few different prominent female actresses, models, and musicians from the 90s, and provides a crude pun or line about what Fellows felt about them. When released in 1992, most of the rhetoric was toned down to be less overly profane, and the live reference to Rihanna was cleverly replaced by Dana. A reference to the character from The X-Files. That's hilarious. The X-Files. Oh, nothing. Okay, that's so good. Okay, can we listen to Heat? I'm just begging for them to give me a song. I'm sick of this jazz. Damn it. No Heat. That's so funny. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back again. Right, 5-piece. Let's look at Root of All Evil. Is 5-piece's debut album under the name 5-piece. According to various sources, most material from 5-piece was recorded mixtape before it became notable, but re-recorded with lyrical differences. Yep, All Your Problem was the first and only single released. After dropping the single, 5-piece announced he'd retained the infamous celebrity lawyer Stevie Whitlock to sue his family. To date, it doesn't seem like he's followed through though. At first, the single didn't make much of a splash, but Whitlock, known for publicity stunts, pays thousands of teenagers. You're a lawyer, right? You're a lawyer, but you're paying teenagers a few dollars an hour to call and request a video on MTV, which increased his profile. MTV eventually caught on and banned the video altogether, which in turn received national news and coverage and made the song even more popular. Good job. You know what? Good job, Stevie Whitlock. All Your Problems. Yes, we got a song. The track is the only new song on the album. The subject matter of the song is the hypocrisy of those who claim money is evil. He points out that the only people who think money is evil are those that have it, those that can afford not to be greedy. In the song, 5-piece triumphantly talks about his taking the Rootrees' wealth due to being his birthright and giving it to those who need it most. Oh, he's a good guy. Sorry, 5-piece, I judged you too soon. You find a copy of the song on a suspicious looking website and download it for your records. We're on LimeWire getting this track. Wow, look at it. Great. It received an airplay but didn't make a big splash, critically or commercially. Still, it is kind of catchy.
Attention.
Oh.
Attention, Roottrees. This is 5-piece coming at you from the real world.
Wow.
You know, the place you ain't ever lived in.
Wow, damn, that is bars. Oh, I don't like it. I preferred the first bit. Is there anything in here? Are we getting anything from this? No, okay, it says 0 clues. It's just for a little bit of funny. The states go from the cash that your ancestors gave you. Anyway, we're not gonna wrap it. This is literally just calling them out. I feel like that Marston chick and her 2 dads. Okay, that is that. Okay. Anyway, this is so good. Let's leave it playing until it's a long song. They got a whole song going on here. Right, cool. Let's keep on going while this fire is playing in the background. I'm so distracted. This is really good. Stevie Whitlock is a lawyer with a history of publicity stunts and grandstanding. Still, she manages to rack up quite a few legal victories for C-list celebrities and athletes. She became famous in the mid-80s after successfully suing a multinational sandwich company whose 12-inch subs were actually an average of 11. Isn't this like a true story? Something Subway. Somebody complained to Subway and got something from it. They sold 1 billion sandwiches per year. This was enough missing sandwich to make a sub long enough to span from New York to LA. The jury awarded her paltry $5,000, but the news coverage of her crusade turned out to be priceless. Unfortunately, none of this seems relevant. Yeah, you're telling me. Okay, I think that's probably all we're getting from these guys. We could look up... there's nothing about where this comes from, actually. The review... News time. We want to look at news time because we want to find this photo of Guy Hudson. New periodical. I love him. This is so good. That's too distracting though. Where are we? There's a choir. When's the big choir in? Anyway, maybe I'll cut that out. Bring the choir in. The choir is smaller than I thought it would be. And you know what? It doesn't sound like a choir. It sounds like the same lady layered up. Okay. The rapper 5-Piece famously appeared on the cover claiming to be a Roottrees. Then 1 week later, Miracle Roottrees did the same, denying that he was. Because of this high-profile back-to-back discourse right before the start of Roottreemania, they appeared to be the de facto publication to get news about the ongoing Roottrees saga. They reported record subscriber numbers during this time, which lasted until the end of Roottreemania, when the world generally stopped paying much attention and they went back to reporting more traditional news. News time is now available. Right, let's search for 5-Piece in news time. I got a JPEG! Kicking off Roottreemania, then a week later Miracle appeared. Okay, we should look for Miracle as well. A summary of both articles was a close-up of both photos. Okay, I think it gave us Miracles, it seems. It says both articles, but let's have a little look. Yep, we've got it. Evidence. Let's go. Oh my god, look at him. That's Miracle now? Oh, Miracle, you're so old. Sorry, Miracle. Is that 5-Piece in your reflection? Nice. He's still got the same tie. Miracle's pretty baller, didn't he? Charlatans and thieves. Charlatans and thieves. I can imagine him saying it. This is Felix Fellows. He looks like he's been hit by a frying pan. Can I... What? You mean this isn't evidence? Look at him. I need that photo. I can see him. I can see your mum. Could this rapper be the next Sam Madsen? Yeah. He appeared on the cover. We read this so much. 5-Piece says his mother, Joanne, was Zach Morden's secretary. Joanna, sorry. Do we know her surname? Wait, no, okay, that is that way around, yes. Did I grasp that this means out of wedlock? Yeah, it does. But what? So you wouldn't have their name, would you? You wouldn't have, maybe. So you might be Joanne Fellows, but the dad might also be a Fellows. Maybe he was adopted. No, because the birth name would have been Joanne Fellows. Unless she was engaged, maybe. Unless she was already with him when she also was having an affair. It wasn't just Guy who had the affair. Possible. Well, he was Zach Morden's secretary when he retired, and then Guy Hudson's secretary for only 1 or 2 weeks after that before she quit the first few weeks that he was president. His parents divorced. His parents, Zach, who's Zach? 5 Pieces' parents divorced when he was 4. Okay, so that probably is his father's name. After his father learned of the affair, Felix and his mother then moved to Portland because she was afraid of her and her son's life. Does it say father's name? It doesn't, does it? No. He grew up with her until he was 16, but one day his mother never came home from the movie rental store where she worked the register. The next morning she found her dead from an overdose in her car. She had stolen all of the cash from the drawer and spent it on heroin. Jeez. As Felix went through her belongings, the only thing he had to remember her by a hairbrush she always used, some photos, and a stuffed animal from her childhood. But then he found it, a box hidden in the back of the closet. Inside were love letters and photos related to Guy Hudson, as well as a letter from his father containing threats. He threw it all away. Damn it. I really needed that. With the exception of the one photo he appears with on the cover of News Time. He says it was the only one where they were dressed. Oh. Okay, yeah, throw him away. The only one not from the affair itself. Jesus Christ. The picture is shown in full inside the magazine and was added to evidence. Oh, I have it. Okay, I didn't see that. The magazine also includes some additional history about 5 Pieces' career. He was born to Riley and Joanna Fellows. There we go. Riley Fellows. Riley Fellows. Fellows is not your surname. Sorry, I'm removing your surname. Sorry, Joanna. You were married. Fellows, but has never rapped without a moniker. He tried to find success by opening for other artists, but even by selling CDs on street corners in Portland. He's only recently started going by 5 Piece to harness the power of his lineage. Yeah, good for him. The writer did some research into the truth of these claims and was able to confirm that Joanna did work for the Roottree company as a secretary sometime during the 70s. I almost said 1700s then. During the mid-70s. It was also confirmed she died of a drug overdose and that Felix went to foster care soon after. They were unable to track down his father. They also reached out to the Roottree company, but at the moment the company's blanket statement was, since blah 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 blah. Yeah, none have been factual and nearly all have been knowingly dishonest. He would encourage individuals to reach out to us, but look, this is photo. I suppose this photo doesn't prove anything. You should have kept the ones where they were sleeping together. But also, you might not come from the same sperm. It might not have happened then. It's possible. Anyway. Yeah. Cool. It says we should get 2 things from this. I think we may have got 2 things from this. Mum and Dad's name. Although we don't know Dad's name. We don't know Mum's full name. Can we look up Joanna? Joanna what was it? Oh, flipping heck. What was it? Fellows. She might have a news article about her now. She doesn't. Is there a Portland magazine? Portland Times? I don't know. Okay, I think that is it for that. Let's look at this little photo. This is quite cute. Roottrees family picnic. She was at the Roottrees family picnic. Who are these 3 people in the background? That's a mystery. Probably 2 of the sisters and 1 of the brothers. That was he claims that Joanna and Guy Hudson also in the photo. Oh, Guy Hudson also in the photo. We're having an affair that led to his birth. So I was like, yeah, I know they're both in the photo. Right, okay. We got a photo of Guy, we got a photo of Joanna. But we don't know her name. Does he have kids? No. Oh, we got a photo of David, let's put him in. And we've also got a photo of... Why have we got a photo of... Miracle? Does Miracle have an affair? Maybe. Why? Great doing that. It wouldn't give us a new photo unless he was going on here somewhere, would it? Would it? Interesting. Interesting. Let's also actually just make a note of the timeline. She was the first. We know she was the first. But Joanna was when Guy became president. I don't remember when that was though. Alright, back to Guy. Around 1979. That was his first move as president. So 1979 was when Fancy Flavors were released. So that means that's when he was president. Cool. Right, now we've got a big book. 6 pieces. How many pages has this got? 1. What? Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. And look, we got a lovely picture of this man. Nice. But he's not relevant to this case. Sam's book has a few different passages about her own history with the company and the rumours and gossip she collected during the tenure. She ran the farm for a period started around 1968, around the death of Elias Roottrie. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's when he died. Until her daughter Gwyneth took over in 1984. Is this relevant? I wonder. Most of the relevant rumours coincide with the reign of Guy Hudson, who took over as president in 1978. Sam was very much not a fan of Guy. Oh, I wrote 79. I was so close. 78. That's a weird looking 8 now because I've combined 9. Sam was very much not a fan of Guy, and according to Six Beasts, it was very open secret in the family that Guy was very much not a fan of remaining faithful to his wife. Burn! Oh, sorry. Many of the guys at the time were young, single women, and Guy often spent a large amount of money on private parties. This was 20 years ago, and Sam warns that most of it is hearsay. Is it 20 years ago? Yeah, it was 78. Still, you find the following information that may be relevant. One of Sam's farm's supervisors was named Elizabeth. Elizabeth had a daughter who Sam never met, but who worked as one of Guy's secretaries. According to Elizabeth, a caterer from a local restaurant called Antonellis met her daughter. I'm so confused. Right. So Elizabeth works with Sam. Elizabeth has a daughter who was a secretary. Elizabeth met a caterer from Antonellis who met her daughter at a guy's party, and they eloped quickly. Antonellis, the caterer, eloped quickly due to pregnancy. Elizabeth wasn't aware the party was for swingers. Rumour has it that her daughter showed up with Guy and didn't seem comfortable switching partners. Her daughter showed up with Guy and didn't. Oh, really? This is. Can we get a definition of swingers? I wonder. No. Okay. Google it yourself. We know what swingers are. Guy's main positive contributions to the company involved expanding to markets previously untapped by Roottree. However, when he went on trips overseas, they were often for weeks at a time, and Guy was known for spending more time and money on unofficial business and meetings with distributors and manufacturers. It was said that he bribed at least one politician to open a factory in Brazil. I bet. There was also a section where Sam speculates that Elias here we go, look, Elias may have cheated on Gwyneth. Gwyneth was much kinder to Sam than Elias was, and was the first to invite Sam to family events. While she had... Wait, what? Gwyneth and Elias, that's top of the tree, right? Gwyneth and Elias, yeah. Oh yeah, she did invite Sam, didn't she? They were still alive when, yes, so I'm sort of getting my timelines mixed up. I'm lost. Where am I? What was I reading? Here. Yes, I remember Gwyneth encouraged Elias to accept Sam into the family. Yeah. Sam always got the impression that Gwyneth was able to coerce Elias into allowing Sam back into the family using some kind of leverage instead of it being a natural course of events. He mentioned that Elias and Gwyneth were known to loudly argue, sometimes about another woman. Sam also said her son Ernie once asked her who's Beth, because he overheard them yelling about someone with that name. As far as Sam knows, Elias once had a secretary named Elizabeth, a different Elizabeth than the supervisor from the farm, but that she never met. Great, so there's 2 Elizabeths. Right, so the first cheat potentially could be Elias. Where am I? You might be Elias. That's not how I do this. Elias Roottree. Oh, you're already in there. You were president. First president. Interesting. And this might be Elizabeth somebody. Unknown occupation. Sleazebag. Sorry. I'm sure she's a lovely lady. Right. There's so much going on here. Swingers parties. Antonellis. Let's look at Antonellis. There's large numbers of Antonelli's restaurants, not because it's a chain, but just because it seems a common name for Italian restaurants. It may be used a local resource. Okay, so let's look at Antonelli's in the Butler County Times. Maybe that should help us. It's an Italian restaurant and it's been in the Butler County Times twice. The most recent times when it was closed in 1982. Oh, the owner, Rochelle Zimmer, sold the land the building was on at the time of the article. She was unsure if the restaurant would move to a new location or she would retire. Many years before that, there's a puff piece from Valentine's Day 1978, the recently married residents of Butler County, how they met. Christine Garland responded. She and her husband Steve, who was a chef at Antonellis, caterer. Okay, not the same person. Met years ago when she delivered produce from her mother's farm. Steve used to work extra hours just to be there during her deliveries. Although they grew apart when the restaurant switched supplies, they reconnected by chance and eloped at the end of the last year. Now she has a bun in the oven. And they're both working as much as they can. She's a secretary. For who? Trying to save up money to move to Boston and open their own restaurant. Is that important? Christine Garland responded. Oh, Christine Garland. There's so much. It goes so deep. Antonella, it just takes us to Antonellis. Steve Garland. Steve. He's mentioned a couple of times. The first one asks about how he met his wife Christine. The second is months later, in September 1978, a listing for his weekend cooking classes, Gourmet for the Groovy. The blurb mentioned that he had been giving lessons from his home kitchen for the last month, so he can keep an eye on his son. The third was from 1991 and is titled Local Author Sued by Former Butler County Resident. It seems that a local author by the name of Mark Zimmer was sued by Garland after Garland saw Zimmer promoting his book Kitchen Tales on television. Okay, this isn't. This feels like a red herring. His recipe book was partially plagiarized from the recipe that Steve Garland would give his students during his cooking lessons before he moved. The article mentioned that all the recipes are hard to copyright. Garland accompanied each recipe with a short fiction about how he learned it. But these also doubled as ways to remember certain ingredients. Garland's bean salad, for example, involved making a tray with the known for some magic beans. What's going on here? Apparently these stories were found word for word. Oh, okay. In addition to additional stories that form the same. Oh, wow. Okay. I want to read this book. If this is the red herring, we are just going. We're committing to it, aren't we? We're looking up Gourmet for the Groovy to read about some magic beans. Mark Zimmer. This is mad. Nothing? No books? Wait, did I do that wrong? No, wait. The cooking classes are Gourmet for the Groovy. Sorry. Do we need Kitchen Tales? There we go. That's where I went wrong. Mark, out of print, no copies. The entire description of the book, according to the library sources, a recipe book that contains stories. Re-release is Garnishing the Truth. They might have that one. Nothing relevant. Why would you do this to me? Is a cookbook credited to Garland and Zimmer? Ah. Zimmer, isn't that Garland? Sorry, that is Steve Garland. So he was credited now. It was quite successful after the duo appeared to promote it on a daytime talk show. There have been multiple things since. Oh, this is interesting. Completely irrelevant to what I'm doing, but that's cool. So they, he tried to sue and then they got together and made up a couple of stories that help the reader remember the ingredients. The reviewer said it seems perfect for learning to cook with the entire family. I like the sound of this book. Sounds good. Let's look up Steve Garland in the internet. Nothing. Is that even a name? Let's look at Mark Zimmer in the internet as well. Oh, flick. I wish I could get rid of this. Can I delete programs from my computer? I can't. I keep clicking on welcome.txt. Aha! Kitchen Tales was a story-based recipe book credited to Mark Zimmer that had some success after it was featured on a morning talk show. The book released before the internet was widespread, so mentions are rare. One book collector states the publishers were unprepared for the demand, and there was no second printing, so it's unusual to find a copy in the wild. You find an alternative medicine website which focuses on cooking with natural ingredients. It mentions that one of Kitchen Tales recipes uses salt water. The owner of the site has included a scan of the recipe, which is added to your evidence. She says if you switch that salt water recipe for a mix of 2/3 spring water and 1/3 filtered salt water, it tastes great. Oh my god. Elizabeth. But not the other Elizabeth. How many? There's currently 3 Elizabeths in this story. No, it's just 2. So I think, so it seems that one of the farm supervisors, Elizabeth, had a daughter who is married to an Antonella, the guy from Antonellis, but was probably sleeping with Guy. Right? And it says eloped quickly due to pregnancy. Maybe that pregnancy is not caterer from Antonelli's. Just saying. But this person who I'm reading about isn't the same person that I'm reading about. These are 2 different people. Right? Oh god, it goes too deep. The plaited loaf. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Kitchen Tale is a book that combines recipes and stories. Yep, it was Martin Bobby. Yep, you found a scan. Yep, plaited loaf. For years, two bakers, Flora and Yates, flirted. There's a story. We found out before stories can mean good things. Grew the friendship, compared recipes and combined knowledge. She loved his salt and pepper beard. He adored her rosemary cheeks. Oh, this is helping me remember the ingredients. They thought sweetly about one another, but he was one day whisked away, conscripted to bake the army's bread. By the oil of the lamp, Flora's tears began to salt her bread. The recipe asked the reader to combine flour, yeast, sugar, oil, and rosemary, combine the salt and water together, and add to the mixture and whisk until the dough begins to form. It was 10 to 12 years later that they met again, seemingly by fate. Flora's unique dough had earned her a position as the king's personal baker. Yates had found success as well. He baked for the kingdom's 45 diplomats. One day they returned from the Dutch Isles with a gift, 450 unbaked loaves, and were sent to the palace bakery to teach a method that required no kneading, allowing the dough to proof for 10 to 12 hours. Upon seeing Yates, Flora was both delighted and distraught. She felt as if she was torn in two. She had not been made aware of the gift and had already prepared buns for the palace oven. She wished to greet Yates warmly, but was struck by fears that he'd been unable to bake with her, that she'd faced retribution for being unprepared. She cried to Yates, adding more salt to her dough, cut the dough into 2 equal parts and lightly sprinkled. I've got no idea what's going on. Yates eased her pain. He insisted she had no obligation to prepare for a return she thought impossible, but he shared her fear of retribution. He knew if they did not solve her predicament, they'd miss their final chance to bake together. In the end, instead of wallowing in the present, they worked together to shape the future. They twisted and tied their doughs and baked them as one. Thus was born the plaited loaf. Word quickly spread about this new delight. The king's decree on royal parchment was that it would be considered delicacy. Bankrolled by the king, Flora and Yates spent their days baking together. They travelled for 45 years and settled down for 15 more. Their souls were gold and with no regrets. What the bloody hell does that mean? If I'm going to speculate, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. I think maybe there was a candy, right? Let's say the king is the Roottree candy company, and then there is a candy that combines 2 sweets into one, and then, well, I don't know who Flora and Bates are, though. Oh, bloody hell. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, gang. So one of these people is married to a baker. That's all I know. How can that be all I know? Business Watch, Butler County Times, Mark Zimmer. Oh no, I've done this before. Rochelle owned Antonella's and Henry Mark owned a good bookstore called Bookmarks. Let's try Bookmarks. And he was mentioned when he was. Wait, what? Wait, so Rochelle, Steve Garland. There's too many names. There's too much lore going on. Steve Garland, his wife Christine. Right, let's write this down. Let's do this. Steve Garland. I think this is going to really need notes. I think last time I got away with it. Maybe I should use my in-game notebook. But I find this so confusing. I don't know why. I just don't like using this one on here. But that's fine. We got a notebook, but I'm bad at keeping notes. Steve Garland is with Christine. Oh my god, my belly just did a mighty rumble. Mark Zimmer is with Rochelle Zimmer. Owned Antonelli's and Antonelis, and Mark owned Bookmarks. They sued each other. What did he do? He worked at Antonelli's. Steve worked at Antonelli's with Christine. And then Christine, what did Christine say? They said they met at Anthony's, yes. When she delivered produce from her mother's farm. She worked on the farm. On farm and Tonelli's. So this could be... It seems to align a lot with the other thing. Why did she say she delivered produce? She doesn't say she delivered it to Antonelli's. She grew part of the restaurant switch suppliers. I eloped at the end of last year. Now she has a bun in the oven. I think this is definitely... Yeah. This is the one that is at the party. Where was that? Here. Yeah? One of Sam's farm people was named Elizabeth. Elizabeth had a daughter. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is combined. Well, it's not a red herring. Is it? Okay. So 20 years ago. Now, we don't know where this is. Let's just put it in like here. Maybe. Christine. We don't know her surname, do we? Because it's Antonelli's. No, sorry, it's not. You are Steve Garland. Stephen Garland. You, we think, had an affair. You are a farmer, I guess. You had an affair with... We don't know this. We don't. This is pure speculative. But you were at a swingers party with him. So maybe it makes sense that you had a child. And then... Yeah, I think that makes sense, doesn't it? You had a child with him. But then they're both working as much as they can. She's a secretary, but went back to delivering projects on the weekends. So now she's also a secretary. So, secretary. It's the most recent job, isn't it? They reconnected by chance when he was delivering to her the party. Yeah. Okay, right, cool. What does that get us? Not really anything, does it? Where's Rochelle gone? Have we searched for Rochelle? Rochelle and her husband, yes. Mark Zimmer. Mark owned Bookmarks. Let's look at Bookmarks. Give me a bookmark. Appeared many times. None of it seems relevant. Cool. We've definitely searched for Rochelle Zimmer, right? Yes, that is boring stuff. Cool. Where are we going to find a photo of these people? Where would I find a photo of Christine? At a party? Because, like, she's wearing a t-shirt that said, Roottrees family picnic. Surely there's more photos of this family picnic. I'm lost again. Roottrees family picnic. Nothing. Okay, I'm not surprised, but I'm a bit annoyed. Does that? Can I? Every time you get 4 additional relatives, does that include the people that I was given last time? Can we maybe guess that this is... No, wait, that wouldn't be you, would it? Maybe Miracle had an affair? Just because we've got a picture of him? Okay, maybe not. Oh, wait. We've only locked in 3 people, though. What's Joanna's name? That's what I need to know. David. I think I must have missed something. David Fellows. Oh, I want to know about your damn mother's maiden name. This should be public information, right? I'm constantly posting my mother's maiden name online. Maybe there's a clue. Maybe there's a clue in his song. Maybe. All your problems. That you come from like that Manston. No. Is there anything that says mum? No. This is a lot, isn't it? Park Place and Boardwalk. No. Because the same god that got to steal my god from me. That's, steal my god from me. No, there's nothing about a mother's name in here. Okay, I don't think we've read Miracle's article, did we? No. He denied that 5Ps was a Roottree. We're going back to 5Ps, by the way. We're forgetting about the bakery issue. The bakery debacle. There we go. That's fun. Doesn't focus much on the details of 5P's accusations regarding his mother and Guy's husband. Instead, he comes across as exhausted at the events that have been going on behind the scenes, as well as the character of those he feels are attacking his family. He starts with 6P's content. He says that although most of the books was based in fact, it left out anything that wouldn't fit the agenda. He points out Sam's daughter still earns a generous salary for overseeing the farm division of Roottree, and that Sam did the same before her. That Sam's family was not destitute, and that really it was her only son who chose to take on a job with no salary. Sam's family was not destitute, and that really it was only her son who chose to take on a job. Who's Sam's son? Sam's son? Oh, right, yes. Oh, wait, what? Pardon? Pardon? What do you mean by that? And that Sam did the same before her, that Sam's family was not destitute, and really it was only her son who chose to take on a job with no salary. Oh, right, sorry, yes, because he became president. I'm so sorry. Yes. He claims that though they didn't have to, the family helped pay for her son's medical bills after voting that it was the right thing to do. Miracle also says that the story about his father, Elias, shunning EC was one-sided, leaving out that Edward Clancy's blame in the whole thing. Elias gave him a simple ultimatum: stop sinning or be disavowed. Oh. So he's blaming him for being a sinner. Miracle says it was his own choice, and that Elias allowing him to earn food and shelter on the company's dime was a kindness, especially considering that he and John continued to live together. Miracle then pivots the fallout from 6P's. He recounts a deluge of claims to the Clanshead Trust that the family have been subjected to. He doesn't cite any specifics, but says that every time someone comes forward, the family devolves to arguments. They had to hire an outside legal team to help, but so far every case has been demonstrably, laughably false. All they do is tarnish family reputation. He focuses on 5P's, who appears on news time before him. Yes, we knew that. He calls him a grifter and a delinquent and says he is using their name and products to sell filth to the masses. Of all the accusations, he says it's the most dangerous because it exposes the world to hatred. He cites 5P's lyrics as violent, sexist and ungodly, and prays the boy will repent, retract his lies and find religion. Lastly, he turns to the future. Miracle states that those that wish to hear the true story can join him on the farewell tour. That's amazing. This upcoming fall, this Miracle Rootrees, the Miracles Roottree, that's the all of them, are planning on touring the country's churches one last time, and that now at age 71, Miracle is the oldest living Roottree. While he plans to continue preaching on his own church in Butler County after the tour, this is your last chance to hear the truth from the man with the most complete recollection of one of America's most notable families in your own hometown. This article mentions that Miracle's son, Miracle Jr., did not wish to comment and has a statement from Clark Grafty LaRue through the Rootrees law firm. Miracle does not speak for his entire family. We're working carefully on a plan to definitively disprove any claims of infidelity in the family's path. Bloody hell. This I can't read anything today. I've said that in every video. I can't read anything any day. The article also does not refute Miracle's claims that he is the oldest living relative, despite Sam Manston being born the year before him. Ooh. It's unclear if Miracle made the claim out of ignorance or spite. Wow. Can we look at Farewell Tour? No. Can we look at the Miracles Roottree? Miracles Roottree? The plural of most people name Miracles, because pluralizing things like that is fun. Okay. I was hoping I would get some sort of flyer like I did last time. Get a picture of these guys. You know what I just thought? This is a red herring, isn't it? This bit about the fish and Sisley Sanchez. That fish is a red herring. This says 8 clues here, though. There's 8 clues on this page. Well, I think it can lead to 8 clues. But I've looked at Sisley Sanchez. And I've looked at Picto magazine, haven't I? Yeah, I did. The thing is, Picto magazine didn't really give us much information, which is surprising, seeing as it's a periodical. But it's there's no articles, there's nothing about it. We've looked at Guy Hudson, we've looked at Sisley Sanchez, Sicily. I'm convinced that this is a red herring now because of the damn. I've just looked at the cover. Oh no! It's the one it's the most important one. I don't understand. I don't know. Let's just before we end, maybe I'm just gonna look up like Carl Roundtree, no, Roottrees. Oops, and maybe the kids as well. Maybe the root, because that's what we all started with, isn't it? Because these will all be updated, and I haven't looked at those, so we should do that before. Many websites and news articles eulogise Carl Roottree along with his daughters and wife Brenda. As far as you can tell, Carl and Brenda Roottree never had any marital issues. Though you do come across an article about Christian Waldez, who claims to have been Carl's high school sweetheart before Brenda. She does not make any claim about having a child with him. She just appears to be paid to talk about his early life. Most of it is boring. She says they met when he was sent to a private school in her hometown and broke up when he graduated and moved out to Butler. Okay, should we just give a quick search for Kristen Waldez? Same page. Okay, let's look at Brenda Roottree. Same page. Let's look up the Roottree sisters. There's going to be loads about them, surely. The website you used to initially place Raina, Rose, and Riley is still up, though instead of the cheery pink background with purple text, it is now traditionally black text on a white background. The young webmaster has turned the site into a memorial for the sisters and their father. Poor Brenda. It seems like she did end up getting her ears pierced like Rose after all. Aww. Regardless, there's no relevant information to a picture of the girls with a sad MIDI piano playing in the background. From other higher profile sites, you find that a charity has been set up in the girls' name, the Roottrees Sisters Fashion Scholarship. Let's have a look at that. The Root website has a small memorial section to the deceased members of the family, but it contains no new information. The most recent catalogue, Spring 1999, has an entirely black cover with no text on it. On the leadership page, that would be a lot of ink. God, imagine all the black ink. You learn that Root is currently managed by a designer who is apparently Brenda White's second in command. You don't recognise her name, and she seemed unrelated to your search. There's also a scholarship page on it. You find information about the Roottrees Sisters Fashion Scholarship. It is awarded to 3 underprivileged high school girls each year who wish to pursue a career in fashion. It should be assigned specifically to 3 sisters. That would be really hard to get. Apparently, it would also give an opportunity to show off their designs on professionally models on a real runway. According to the site, the fund was created directly from shares that would have contributed to the inheritance of the Roottrees sisters if they were still alive. Like other aspects of the Planted Trust, is managed by Ruby Legal Enterprises. Interesting. This is, I assume, the page for Root as well, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Brenda White. Oh, maybe Brenda White will give us anything different. It hasn't been updated. This is the original Brenda White. Cool. I think we're sort of dead end over here then. We could try Raina. We should more specifically Raina, Rose, and Riley. See if these have been updated. Nope, that is the same. Nope, that is the same. And finally, that too is the same. Cool. I want to hear this sad MIDI song though. Where's that gone? Who else was on here? Elias, Carl, and Raina. Should I maybe search for Carl? Who was Carl? Carl is the one that I just searched for. I thought they would be, more important. And let's give a quick search for Elias Roottree. Because we haven't done that yet. They were never really celebrities, but the general public's perception of them as a classic faces associated with the Roottrees Candy Company has always been in somewhat high regards. This was Elias' intention as a family man with his family brand. Since Six Pieces, the Candy Company has placed much less emphasis on Elias as a historical brand connected figure, but there have been those who have argued that it was his right to decide how to split his inheritance and that he did nothing wrong. This has led to some heated television exchanges and countless op-eds. The first Anderson Maple Farm only used to be a popular tourist attraction during the summer months, when it had special tours. However, it has since seen an explosion of off-season business, as some religious and political groups decided to visit to show support for Elias and Gwyneth's traditional value and financial rights. Great, that's the sort of people you want to be associated with. This rise in support was in turn followed by pickets from gay rights activists, and some particularly inflammatory organisations made their pilgrimages. Nice. Amongst all the conflict, the farm has since shut down, seemingly indefinitely. The website says check back later, but there's no date. The quotes from Bess Williams' book appear to be taken down. Or Bess Williams' book. That one, right? Yes, that was him. Did I read that? I can't actually remember if I read that one in the past. I'm sure I did. Cool. Let's look at the farm and see a sign saying it's been closed down. That doesn't take us anywhere. Have I searched for the Roottrees Candy Company? Much has changed. Have I looked at this? Yes. No, I haven't. During your last search, you only got a good look at the history page. The design itself has become more sleek and very corporate. Gone is any history focus on Elias Roottree. Instead, the site seems to focus on the present status of their candy offerings. With high quality JPEGs of each of their products, there are also some small ads for Root, which is the clothing company owned by the Roottrees Candy Company. There's a small section at the bottom that lists the president as Clark Rafferty LaRue. A short bio mentions that he was responsible for some of their marketing before taking the reins after their unfortunate plane crash. There is also a small memorial section for those that perished in the plane crash, including the Roottree sisters, Carl and Brenda, Kurt Johnson. Oh, these are new. We haven't, because we heard there was workers on board, but we haven't actually seen any of these names. Kurt Johnson and Mark Sanchez, like Sisley, so she would have something to gain from getting revenge. Dad died? ? That's interesting. Co-pilot of Roottree jet during its crash last December. Although the NTSB investigation has not been released, foul play has not been ruled out. Trish King was on the cabin crew of the Rootree's private jet. Elizabeth Nicholson, who went by Eliza, lived in a house with a family about 200 yards from the section of the woods where the plane crashed. Oh god. She probably had a heart attack during the commotion, and I found out, oh my god. Due to the overwhelming phone lines and the ongoing storm, her son-in-law managed to flag down an officer responding to the plane crash, but it was too late. Jeez. Okay, so she wasn't on the plane. She just died by being near it. Blimey. Right, that's interesting about Mark Sanchez, though. Sisley Sanchez. You were... When was this? Appeared in a magazine about a book she commissioned for guides, and the magazine says... This was June 19th. So this was after the crash. So I think she wants, like... That red herring's looking at me. It's not a herring, it's a bass, okay? It's a bass. I think she is trying to get revenge. Or, like, try to make them pay for killing their... Well, they don't have to do with it, but... if he wasn't a pilot, then he wouldn't have died, so... maybe. I wish I could phone her up. I wish I could phone up Sisley. We both seem to want similar things. She wants the truth to come out, and I also want a truth to come out. And I think I might end this episode here. Unfortunately, we haven't made any progress. We've put in David Fellows, Joanne, and that's it. Was it really Riley Fellows? Oh man, we haven't done much, have we? Oh wait, we did think about Christine. We found Christine. Let's not forget about Christine. Ay. Right. Anyway, let's end it there. Yep. And hopefully next time we can come back, find some good stuff. Maybe. I don't know. I really hope. Really hope. Until then, I'll see you soon. Have good weeks. Have good days. Have good dreams. Have a good cup of tea. I'm going to after this. See you. Goodbye.